The first time I got fired was in 2014. I was working at this really big company. That's a $1 billion company right now. It's a huge company. Everybody knows it. I won't even give the name of it right now, but I was fired. While I was in training, I was working extra hard trying to learn the systems, and the guy who I was dealing with that was my training supervisor, he didn't think that I had what it took to stay in this company. And the way that he played me was, he said, hey, man, come here real quick, Oshay. I just want to walk with you to this office real quick. Hey, man, so how's your day going? Pretty good. We're just walking, talking, whatever. And he takes me to the room. There's some lady sitting there. She goes, yeah, this is your last check. You've been terminated from this company. I'm like, what? I don't understand. I've been coming to work every day. I've been doing my job. But we just don't think you're a good fit for here. Thanks for coming. So I was terminated. At the time, I was still living. With my mom, and I was helping out my parents, stuff like that. And I had to tell her. And I know I had unemployment coming in, but I felt some feeling of guilt as a man. I was terminated. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't know what I was going to do next. But that job was my livelihood at the time. I was fired. But then the next few days came. I felt a sense of freedom, no stress, able to organize the next step in my life. And I had some savings. And what I did in the next few months of my life changed my life forever. I created the Oshay Duke Jackson YouTube channel. I applied to medical school. I got in. Took the MCAT. I've been wanting to do that for some time. Got in. Was able to get approved for a loan to come to Poland. Was able to start a blog that failed. I lost a lot of money on that, but I got some expertise. And you guys know when it comes to YouTube, my channel, the rest is history. The reason why I'm saying this is because even though I got fired from a job who didn't respect me, didn't think that I can do something, I knew I had a lot to offer in life. So it didn't really matter what they thought. Didn't matter what they felt that I couldn't do. The fact is, I knew that I could do it. And see, I'm done more for myself now, more so than they could have ever done, getting more done with my dreams than that punk ass job ever could have did. In fact, I believe I'm making more money than the motherfucker who fired me. Calypso organ, I'm really preaching. And so you sitting there wondering, why are you telling me all of this, dog? I don't get, what's the point of this story? What do you mean? Really what it means is, I don't give a damn who respects me or not. And see, I wish my fellow black men felt the same way. You see, you black men here on this sector of YouTube called the Menosphere or the black sector of YouTube, you have been so bothered by a few women who have took to their YouTube channels to say, why should we respect you? This is the question they're asking. What have you done as a collective group to earn our respect? Besides the fact that you have a penis, besides the fact that you were a man, you really are not doing nothing that we should respect. Now, think about this job that fired me. When they fired me, I was hurt. But no matter how much I would have argued in that room, no matter what I would have said to them in that room, the fact is, they had my last paycheck. I was no longer going to be a part of their company. It didn't matter what I said. I was leaving. Either voluntarily or involuntarily, because they was going to call the police on me had I had acted stupid. So the best thing I could have done was say, thank you for the opportunity. Take the check. Get the fuck up on out of there. And make my next plan. And see, you know what? When these black women say things about you as black men, it hurts. It bothers you. Many of you got kids that you take care of and you pay child support. Some of the kids you can't even see because the mama won't let you see it. Some of you black men have helped raise other people's children. And once Father's Day comes around, nobody will even call you and say, Happy Father's Day. Kids won't call you or even send you a birthday present or even get you a Christmas present. And you have taken them all across town, driven them to games and all these things. Oh, I'm really preaching Calypso, Oregon. Calypso, Oregon. I'm preaching. And see, it hurts. As a man, when you want to really be accepted by a group of women who might sometimes tell you that they are more intelligent than you are, they got more on the ball than you, you're not doing anything. It's a hurting thing for black men to hear this, and we have been hearing this for a long time. Now, we are not perfect, and we have channels that have talked about them also, and it hurts them. I'm sure it does. So I'm not going to play the victim role, but I know that it hurts. It hurt me when I got fired. But I knew that I could not change their mind. And see, the one thing about my old job is if they knew how good I was doing right now, see, they wouldn't care. The job does not fire you and then try to follow you around and see what you're doing. They just want you to get the fuck up out of there. But that's not the case with our women. Once they fire us, give us the last check. I'm using my Polish money here real quick. Give us the last few dollars that they get. Get the hell up out of here, nigga. And you go out and get a better job. You go out and get something different. And you become happy. Could be a job that's paying better or paying less. Because sometimes women say, well, you go out and get you a fat woman. You get you a fat, nasty white woman. And it's not a beautiful black woman, but it's a better situation. Less stressful. See, now they want to be mad about that you made the switch. But do you know one thing? I'm going to tell you one thing, brothers. You ought not even be concerned about if they respect you or not. Because at the end of the day, do you respect yourself? Oh, somebody ought to be shouting, listen to this goddamn video. Calypso, Oregon. See, it matters not who respects you, but it matters who you let know that you respect yourself. And once you start respecting yourself, then folk gonna respect you. See, that's how that works. And see, so many of you brothers are so butthurt about how black women feel about you or as a group. How do you feel about yourself? Because the last I have checked when it came to the black man, I'm happy to report, Negro News, the black man, despite not being a high earner, despite not being highly educated, and despite all of the things that people say about him, the black man ain't missing no goddamn sleep. He ain't really missing no lunches, and he still can get the women that he want. And if he get into an industry long enough, he'll take it over. That's the beauty of the black man. No matter where he goes, his reputation, people are amazed at him. Although people hate him, they can't help but love him at the same goddamn time. No matter how you try to keep him down, he still finds a way to come up because that's how the black man works. And see, that is one thing that you have other groups of men don't. And people, whether they know it or not, they respect at least that part. Because if the black man is nothing else, he's a survivor. Because what they tell me is when Columbus and them came onto this good old country, they met the Native Americans. And they coughed on them. And them men died. They put them out in the field and tried to make them work as slaves, and they could not take it. But the Portuguese, when they went to Brazil, took us over there. And the Englishmen took us over there and put us under harsh circumstances, and we survived. The Jim Crow survived, slavery survived, being police brutality survived, and after all of that, the black man, he is still here. And the last thing that you ought to be worried about is if some group of women on the internet have respect for you or not. Because at the end of the day, when you show up on the scene, macking and fast talking and dressed nice, somebody gonna choose up on you. Huh? You don't have to beg from nobody. You are not Lazarus. The dogs are not coming by and licking your sores at the gate as you beg from crumbs from the rich man who was in purple linens every day. Well, see, we ought to stop doing that. Gods don't beg. Ain't that what they say in the conscious community? The black man is God, which is what they used to be preaching. We're not beggars. We're not here to be asking somebody for their fucking leftovers. We are not Lazarus. We are not the guy at the pool who was begging for somebody to come and lift him up when we can get up and walk for ourselves. The women, if they don't respect you, there's nothing that you can say to make them respect you. But how about that? There's so many women in the world who want to get with your program. There's so many beautiful women out there who will give you what you want for less. There are women with no kids. There are women with slender bodies, big juicy booties, little skinny booties. You don't have to argue with these women right here because, see, responding to them means that they have a point. And if they don't have a point, what they say don't bother you. Going back and forth with them, it shouldn't bother you. And if you respond to what you're trying to say is, they do got a point. And for some men, they may have a point. But see, I'm a person that believes in actions. Like John Henry Clark said about Japan, they were decimated and they focused on what they needed to be doing. And then now Japan sells USA's Hondas. And now Japan is a first world country after World War II because the Japanese believes in not worrying about what you say about them because it falls upon deaf ears, but they believe in doing for self. And they believe in that alone. And that is what you black men must be focused on. What can you do? Not worried about who respects you. Because the lion doesn't get up every day and worry about who respects him in the jungle. There's people who don't respect LeBron James every day because he's LeBron James. Somebody's coming after him all the time. He still got to play. Black man, you got to play. You have to compete like everybody else. And once you do what you're supposed to do, your male aura is so strong when you put it on. When a black man is strong, people, especially these women, they cannot resist it. Even with an ugly nigga like me, when you are strong, they sense it. So focus on being strong. And sometimes being strong is being strong enough not to respond to people who are trying to get you to engage in something that is meaningless, in something that is not a worthwhile conversation, in something that gets you nor her nowhere. Obviously, her mind is made up. Why are you looking to change her mind? Change, folks. Perceptions. If you're concerned with that, not with your debates, not with your rebuttals, not with your responses, but do it with your actions. Do it with your building. Let your actions speak for you, not your words. Because we got a lot of niggas who can talk and pick up great points and pick up great debating tactics and have very good arguments, but it falls on deaf ears to them. They don't understand it. And to them, you can bring all kinds of stuff to the fight. Debates, rebuttals, responses, arguments, statistics, and it still falls on deaf ears. Because if they don't want you, you can't help them. All you can focus on is who can you influence. Think about the Nation of Islam. Is the Nation of Islam for everybody? Everybody love Farrakhan. A lot of folks love it. Not enough to join the nation, but you love it. It's not for everybody. You got folks who hate Farrakhan. People who love Jesus, folk who hate him. The folk who hate Jesus or Farrakhan or whoever else, ain't nothing you can do in the world to make them change their mind. Let the women feel how they want to feel. Don't challenge the women. If the black woman has an attitude towards you that she cannot respect you, or she does not honor you, let the black woman have her say. What you do is avoid her and let her have her way. Go around her. Ignore her. Do not confront her. Continue on as if you were on. And that way you don't take your focus and use your energy on somebody who already don't think that you're worth talking about. So that way you have removed that. Do not be like women. Do not be catty. Do not engage her. And focus on what you should be doing. And that is how black men need to be. Believe in yourself. Because just because somebody fire you don't mean somebody else greater won't hire you. I'm a living witness to that. And I'm doing much better now than I ever was at that funky ass job. And if the manager is watching right now, all I got to say is, what up, dog? So, brothers, thank you for listening to the video. I hope you have been helped by this. Don't fall into that foolishness. Don't fall into that. Don't fall into the back and forths and the back and forths and the back and forths and the commenting on them videos. Don't fall into that stuff. Because at the end of the day, you cannot argue with somebody whose mind is changed. It's made up, They're not going to change because you respond to them. They're not going to change because you comment in their stuff. They're not going to change because you send them an email. If they don't want to change, then don't worry about them. Avoid them, move around them, and go to the women who are going to be feeling you. And then they'll have something to say about that too. Because once they say you ain't doing shit, then you go to some other woman who says you doing something, they're going to say you still ain't doing shit. So you can't make them happy. Ain't nothing you can do. If the black man wasn't able to do enough for black women when we were doing good from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, when we were building schools, homes, communities, and churches, and if that wasn't enough, nothing else you can ever do will be enough for a lot of them. Just face it. That's what it is. Because we were building back then and building after slavery and building colleges and universities and churches and programs and stuff like that. And it wasn't good enough then. So if it wasn't good enough for a lot of them then, it ain't going to be good enough now. So the only women you can be worried about is those who want to be a part of your communities and build for those women who want to be a part of what you're trying to do. Answer simple. Subscribe to my new two channels on the bottom in the description. I just made a video how to travel to Brazil. Please, brothers, go check that video out, right? I put a lot of effort into that video, trying to get you brothers to understand how you can travel to Brazil. Very, 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 very easy. Some contacts there I have for you brothers. Subscribe to both my channels, that channel and the Oshay Duke Jackson 2 channel. Okay? Subscribe to both of those things. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.